Okay, good morning. I was debating on what I wanted to do a video on. And I was like, I'll do my something weird thing today and just show a bunch of clips and explain myself and what it's all going to lead to in the end. It's probably going to get into cloning and it's going to go over the Epstein stuff. Give me a minute. Okay, first things first. We're going to go into the whole island I was been talking about in a lot of my videos, where it's the government burned all those like pink slips I told you that had to do with all the little child sex pedophile ring that was going on during like the 80s and the 70s and shit, and the 60s and stuff before they got caught was in the 70s. But yeah, this is some one clip I can find just now on it.
Reason number 69 why there should be a revolution. Did you know the FBI destroyed 30 to 100,000 client cards for pedos back in the 70s? Yeah.
The 70s.
Dean Coral. You ever heard of Dean Coral? He's the guy in Houston who had this high school kid running around and collecting his friends for a bounty. He was selling his friends to Dean for like $200. Anyways, after 30 kids, this other kid, Nick, I believe his name was, snapped and shot Dean Coral before he could kill a couple other high school students. FBI went into Dean Coral's house. They found it varies, either it's from 10 to 30,000 or 30,000 to 100,000 client cards. It was connected to a Dallas human.
That's way more than what I said. From what I was reading about a while ago, fucking it was like 1,500 to 3,500, which is still a lot of fucking people to be fucking moving any of that shit around the material.
Trafficking snuff film ring confirmed. This is all documented. It is known as the Odyssey Foundation. And wouldn't you know it, the Odyssey Foundation is connected to John Paul Norman, the same guy who has connections to John Wayne Gacy.
See what I'm talking about? That's what I've been saying in all my videos too, about how Gacy's always fucking, like, he said to the day he died he didn't do it alone. Like,
ask yourself this, why are all these serial killers having these sudden connections with what appears to be snuff film producers and human trafficking rings? And why, most importantly, did the FBI delete a bunch of clients, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of client lists, which were taking part in these human trafficking rings?
Because the next thing I would leave you with would be like to go look into the Dallas Buyers Club and, well, that's why I'm going to do it, but go into the Finders Cult. The Finders Cult is, they still think to this day that it's a straight up satanic part. It's the guy who runs Equidno, Bushy Brow. He ran the Temple of Set, which is supposed to be connected to all that stuff and all that shit.
That question. And then ask yourself if we should be invading other countries.
Okay, we're right back with another clip. So, the spicy gets spicier. I won't download any fucking, even if it's censored off where they're getting this info from, I'm not getting any of that. Any material that's audio or video, not putting that on my computer. That's entrapment waiting to happen. I don't care if the government released it. There's enough going on here for you to put a picture together. So, but I'll talk about people watching that. Like, you have it online, I'll go watch it that way.
I was only 17. I was the perfect victim.
I don't look like a 17-year-old girl behind that. That was a 14-year-old, 13. She's wearing like a velour fucking, like Japanese schoolgirl outfit. The shit that's coming out over here and people connecting it to other people. Everybody remember that too, because like how I was going over, they don't even spell everything right. They do put the spaces in it. I didn't realize that. And if you go, like I said, we went into the fucking emails yesterday. Talk about cheap shit. Like another thing they kept referring to is, I guess if it's dogs, that means something like that, boys or whatever. But like they kept all the crate trading things. They kept thinking about. I got to reading afterwards. I got to put it on camera. These dudes I'm pointing out, a lot of these people follow them. They're really good. I don't know how I'm followed on this account. Well, this account doesn't have him followed, but he makes some good shit.
The soul I describe as the dark matter of the brain.
See if I can find anything. I've been trying to find the shit on cloning. Okay, got some more fucked up shit for you. Coming for those Epstein files.
It's only supposed to redact victims' photos. What's this that they redacted? I mean, could that be a victim? Look closer. No, it's Donald Trump. If they're redacting this, then imagine all of the terrible stuff they're redacting. Remember how the DOJ is only supposed to redact?
So, yeah. They're not protecting the victims. None of this is to protect the victims. A lot of the victims have come out to want to fucking, they're alive. They're like, get these people in trouble. Show my face, show my name. They're not doing it to protect victims. They're only doing this to protect the clients. It's ridiculous. Here's another clip. Like I said, I wouldn't want these in my hard drive.
I just found this video in the Epstein files, and it appears to be a very young girl showering. Why in the world is the Trump administration still redacting the names of these people who are alleged co-conspirators? Why are we still seeing names redacted that shouldn't be redacted? The only thing I can think of is that Trump's trying to hide something. I don't care what your politics are, this is wrong. Video in the Epstein files, and it appears to be
Shut up. Okay, like I said, he took it to the whole thing, like, all of them are involved. Every single one of them. It seems like every politician, any kind of person that's in a power spot is in on all this. But let's keep going. Let's see what else pops up. Okay, we're going to go in the Podesto files that came out a couple years back. This has been circling around the internet for years now. Probably like 5-6 years, at least half a decade. And there's more if I can find them, but I won't. In my archives, I'm missing files since the fucking Windows update. Since the last Windows update, like a couple weeks ago, I'm missing a fuck ton of files. I'm going to see if they're hidden on my drives or something, but they're not there. I'm missing PDFs, tons of stuff. It's ridiculous. But here's more fucked up shit. Mind you, this is like an adult bathhouse. Okay, that's supposed to be an adult bathhouse. I don't know if it's on the island, but it's someone else's. This is not meant for children. They're not supposed to be there. This is after hours. This is a whole bunch of weird going on. Here's a bunch of awful. I hate this video. It's Stephen Colbert in the Podesto files, fucking screaming GTO guitar, whatever the fucking band. Somebody I used to know at it. The small child who's painting. I don't know. All of this looks awful. The small child looks disturbed. I wish they showed the face. I don't know. I don't know. That's fucking awful. This video has also been circulating as long as this video has been circulating, at least since the whole like original Pizzagate thing. Oh my god, it's been like almost 10 years since Pizzagate. I think it's been longer than that. It's been a long time. Time's going by quick. And nothing's getting done. Nothing's getting done at all. But like, let's keep going with the menagerie that's going on right now. Okay, I had to go digging, and the closest thing I could find is this dude talking about it, and it did get discussed in the new releases.
American universities. So this is this is the real deal. Like, this is some really creepy, strange stuff they were doing, but it fits in with the overall transhuman agenda and a lot of what we're seeing these people doing. Continuing.
Well, it's that, and then I went into the Gmail thing, and I started pulling up the cloning stuff, and it's been going on for a while. Like, he talks about it working out and all this stuff. It's very odd. He's very, very cryptic when talking about this. Dog cloning. Like, he really wants to fucking do this forbidden research. Like, he was trying to clone. So keep that in mind. If he's trying to make a baby farm and he's making kids undoctored and stuff, and he's cloning them through I forgot what it's called. It's not. He's doing basically test tube babies, but with these girls being like, instead of like growing them in a fake actual womb, he's just having them carry them. That's how like cloning works, basic terms. But we'll keep going with this. Okay, what I was leading into was this.
What do you think? Are these 5 celebrities related or no? Some people say they're the same person. What do you think?
There's slightly little variations. Like I said, cloning programs. And this is all goes back to him being MK Ultra connected and connected to everything in the CIA and everything and the FBI. How would he have all the access to all these doctors and shit that would be needed to do that?
Are these
Okay, let's keep going. Now I got a series of images that are just very odd and just weird. How long? This is Courtney Cox. I don't know what this is getting posted on. Probably it looks like Instagram or something. I mean Instagram, fucking Twitter back in the day. How long does it take to cook a baby in the microwave? I don't know. I close my eyes when I masturbate. What? And then this. Just odd. Next one. So in the Epstein files, they were going over a bunch of kids that went missing in Wayfair stuff. Some people made connections to the missing kids in these, storage lockers. Or remember, they're using AI photos. That's another one too. AI images of like pizza to fucking sell kids. That's another odd thing to add to this. Then like we could go into art. We can go into art all day, but like this is just some of the shit that comes up. There's the weird dude that fucking all the artists seem to get like clothes up. It's like child doodles. It looks like, but like made from possessed small children. It's fucking wild. Then there's that other dude who makes like what do they call it? Anthropomorphic like animal people, but they're like depicting the children as like these grotesque little creatures and shit all the time. Like they're always on that fine line of like uncanny valley and stuff. It's always disturbing too. Or there's the one that fucking what's his name? Podesta's brother and all them fucking Podesta's brother. Yeah, John. Yeah, and all of them have it. It's like the weird tortured victims hanging from the ceiling and shit, all blindfolded and like into BDSM positions and shit. Wackadoo shit. Now we're gonna go into the political side. Why is cheese pizza? Why is this chick even here?
Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
No, she was the judge for the pizza trial.
So keep that in mind. The Pizzagate lady, the DEI hire, let the Pizzagate people go. Now we're getting into the idea of like normies are fighting with the idea because everybody thinks he's dead. A lot of people think he's dead, and now people are waking up to the idea that he's alive. I've been saying that for a while. There's some smarter people who connected a bunch of shit a couple of years back, and everybody kept calling them crackpots for it. But then again, those same people that do the same thing would also point out that he's Mossad. They don't do that to themselves and shit unless it's like the sacrifice is needed. He's too high up to be considered fodder for the fucking fight. So they snuck him the fuck out. Just listen to this. They did this. It sounds like a great way to move a body, a living person in a box to get him out of a situation.
An absolute bombshell has been uncovered in the latest Epstein filed release. Buried down in this document on page 106, an interview with somebody who for the first time admits that efforts were made to hide Epstein's body from the media. Due to the large news media presence outside the prison, a male official called and said he would be arriving at the loading dock with a black vehicle. In order to thwart the media, 3 people used boxes and sheets to create what appeared to be a human body, which was put into the white vehicle, which the press followed, allowing the black vehicle to depart unnoticed with Epstein's body. This revealing for the first time that there was an effort to hide Epstein's body from the media.
Then their excuse is not even valid. Like I said, every time I hear an excuse like these, it's not an excuse. They would show a body. They would do something. Like they faked the Bin Laden shit. They faked the Charlie Kirk stuff. Like they want you to think these people are dead, and they're probably not dead. They're all like crisis actors, or like I said, actual like people in control, trying not to get in trouble, sneaking out and getting away with it.
And that lands this story square in the center of the world's most viral newsroom.
Now, I might be grabbing at straws on this one when I connect dots on this, but I have a real strong opinion that this has something to be connected with, like the pedophile rings that were connected to like the child's pedophile logos with the swirls and shit and all that stuff, and that connects back to Jeffrey Epstein and all them. So I have a feeling that Welcome Back to Dream Board is that. connected.
This is one of the most disturbing websites on all of the internet, Dreamboard. And it served as the face of a gigantic pedophile ring. So it was hard to get into Dreamboard as a user, and they had a very rigorous and disturbing set of requirements.
The way he says that doesn't... It's a fucked up way to get into a fucking awful website.
First of all, to get access to the platform, you had to upload your own CP clip. And this clip had to be accessible to all users. You had to provide the username and password needed to get access to the clip. And once you were a member, if you didn't upload a new CP clip within 50 days, your account would be terminated. Some of the rules that were actually taken right from the site read as, keep girls under 13. I'm going to read this right here from this news report. In fact, I really need to see 12 or younger to know you're a brother. Don't avoid nudity in previews. I will not accept you if there's no nudity. There was also a portion of this website disturbingly reserved for children in distress. I'm going to read this quote again from this part of the news article about this part of the website. It said, if the girl looks totally comfortable, she's not in distress, it does not belong in this section. So obviously these people who were accessing this website were some of the worst, just horrible human beings. They also had classifications on the website. You could be a super VIP, a VIP, or a member. And apparently the super VIP classification, the top of the top in the website boards, was saved for people that were producing their own homemade CP and posting it to the website for all these child predators to see. But even when darkness hides like this, the light will always come. In the year 2009, the Operation Delgo was launched by the U.S. government. They had been tipped off about the presence of this site. They had seen some of these violent and horrific clips, and they knew they needed to do something. This operation was launched specifically to target the Dreamboard website. And shockingly, even though there were 600 registered members at the time of this bust, only 72 of them could be fully identified and charged. These sick men who accessed these chat rooms and messaging boards were from all over the world, but a number of them were here in the United States. The FBI conducted raids on their houses, and these men were fathers. They were people who were prominent in their communities, and they had all been actively posting and interacting on this website. Now, shockingly, when the Department of
Devils will hide among us. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Justice made an announcement about this whole operation, they said that they had recovered 123 terabytes of CP or...
Terabytes. 123 terabytes. What is the fucking, like, storage? Like, that's a lot of storage. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a lot of storage. It's a lot of land space.
CSAM. This would be equivalent to 16,000 DVDs worth of unique images and videos. This was
That's like full length. I hope they're not 2 hours long or an hour and a half long. Like, but like even then though, there's so many clips out there, I bet, and so it's fucking awful.
The largest CP bust in United States history at the time. And even though a number of these men have been sentenced to long prison sentences, there are still a number of users who are not identified. They've been listed with their names out as John Does, but they've yet to be caught by the U.S. government. And like I said before, they can still only identify 72 out of these 600 people from around the world that were on this website.
You notice one of them is a cop? Did you see that? One of them was a fucking cop?
People from around the world that were on this website. Needless to say, this is one of the darkest, most disturbing, and I hope that one day they'll be able to track those remaining men down and justice will be served. This is one of the...
Yeah, so the connection I'm making with that, I'm pretty sure there's that many people getting away with it. How many feds were on there? They're trying to say they're trying to catch them. Like, how many were, like, the feds are really known for being, what they find out, probably, like, a lot of them were just, like, feds trading photos with each other. Or it was Epstein clientele. And, like, because that seems like a very cruel, specific way to be on within 50 days. So, like, just keep an account you have that could constantly just be fucking kid up for the rest of their life. And then when that kid doesn't become they have to be under 13, 14 or some shit. Like I said, that's starting to fit the criteria for how these fucking troglodytes that live among us are thinking. I'll be right back with another one. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole clip, but this is also proving towards the whole cloning idea I was saying, and how just watch. It'll make sense when you watch it.
So it went super viral that apparently the Epstein files showed that Jeffrey Epstein is Zoran Mamdani's dad. Turns out his mom was all over the Epstein files. And it turns out that all of this is just fake and being shared by a whole bunch of what are probably obvious bots. Made up AI images. I mean, like, they're fucking not even trying. Bro, but when you dig into the actual files and you look at Mira Nair, his mom, and actually where she's showing up in those files, It leads you right to one of the most interesting connections in the Jeffrey Epstein story that no one talks about, no one knows about, the media doesn't report on. And I guarantee you that this rabbit hole has depths. It has dirt all over the place. It has.
My theory is he had a bunch of like surrogates, and because he really had a fetish for impregnating, if they're real women, to have children that he could have sex with. He has photos in the fucking files that I've seen pop up of having paternity tests on the girls he's having sex with. That's not a normal thing to keep with you, you know?
As famous people, it's got it all. And this is a rabbit hole that people need to dig into. So Mamdani's mom is showing up just because she's a director of Hollywood movies. I don't know what she makes, but like independent films, highly acclaimed or whatever. And she...
Independent films. For all we know, she's probably the one holding the camera for these people.
She's on all these different invitations and correspondences about various film events. And Jeffrey Epstein's connection to this world is Peggy Segal. And if you don't know about Peggy Segal, I'm about to put you on some fucking game. This is Peggy Segal, well into her 70s. And yes, there are references to what sounds an awful lot.
She's definitely tapping into adrenochrome blood fucking source. What the hell? 70, it looks like that.
A lot like adrenochrome in the Epstein emails.
50.
And this is Peggy with Brett Ratner.
That's a man. That is a man. Holy shit, that is a man. Look at that fucking jawline. Look at those shoulders. Holy shit, that's a guy just as a lady.
There are
yeah, that is a man. Holy shit, that is not a woman.
And yes, there are references to what sounds an awful lot like adrenochrome in the Epstein emails. And this is Peggy with Brett Ratner. Whole other rabbit hole. There are photos of Peggy with just about every famous
jawline,
person
head strap,
alive.
Shoulders, everything.
You know.
Yeah, look at the no titties.
You know.
It's a tranny.
And the reason for that is because Peggy Segal is one of the most famous and powerful publicists in the world. She's the Hollywood connector. She's the woman that throws all the parties for all the movie premieres. So when you're premiering your big Hollywood movie, you get all of the famous people to come to your premiere. And the club is like, oh, it's very important. It's very important. And that's how movies work. That's how Oscars work. That's how the awards work. That's how all of it works. It's a big
circle jack.
Big club. And it's run by Jews.
It's a big circle jack. It's a giant circle jack. These people, and then they try to convince us or the stupid people like, isn't this good? You like it? You liked it. Now go watch the thing that make us more money while you watch us watch things while we give each other fake. So,
and Peggy was Epstein's direct line of access into this entire world. And she's got some lies to answer for now that the new emails are out.
She's probably
so back in
one
2019.
of those deeps. It's a he. Like planted Mossad agents or some shit. Like he said, they have them everywhere. They have so many people everywhere. Like.
When the whole first Epstein story broke, Peggy got super blacklisted immediately. No one worked with her. Everyone cut her off. She whined about it. I've always suspected, and I made content about this years ago, that I think that she got blacklisted because they were scared. That if people start looking at Peggy, they're going to start looking at her book of contacts, and they're going to start looking at her relationship to Jeffrey a little too closely because there's a lot there. So here's the reporting from back then and all the lies she told. Her staff described a symbiotic relationship wherein Segal would receive gifts from Epstein, including travel expenses, and that at times she kept her studio clients in the dark about how she would bring him to the party. But she insisted through a spokesman.
Yep, she's a handler, just like what's her name? She's a Ghislaine. She was a facilitator. She got blacklisted because they realized she was doing it. She should have been caught like Ghislaine. We'll probably find out in a couple of years.
That her financial arrangements and everything ended by 2010 when Epstein was released from prison. Peggy is known for her list. All these important people. Voting members of the Academy, New York socialites, influential motherfuckers.
Why, like I said, who made her the arbiter of this? No one. She just supposedly knows everything that's good and influence. No, this is a handler. This is like what Maxwell's father did with the fucking the textbooks, or how these people go out and they find the victims. Like I swear to God, like the photos, things they do for school for like kids' photo day, that goes through BlackRock companies and shit. And that goes. They all use these things to facilitate their like weird sexual satanic underground shit.
Fuckers, Hamptonites, downtown Crown Media Figure, the club, the fucking club. She brags that her list is 30,000 contacts long. 30,000 of the most important club members, connected elites that she'll be inviting to these parties that Jeffrey Epstein will be attending. and schmoozing at. Also, early life check because it's Hollywood. But of course, if you've seen the email releases, you didn't need the early life check because you would have read her and Jeffrey talking like this. Jeffrey's hosting a Yom Kippur redemption party, asking her for advice of who to bring. She responds, is it going to be 100% Jew night? Even Perelman on Yum Yum has some Goyim. I'm getting my media elite list FedExed out for Saturday and we'll email some.
Bro, I'm telling you, they eat us. They eat Goyim. They eat Gentile. They eat us. Because, like, what the fuck are they saying?
Names. What about Jane Fonda, my new best friend? Nothing like an ex-Jew hater with a Jewish boyfriend to mix it up. Peg.
Huh. Bro, that's next level fucking wildness. That's wild.
Huh. Who else uses the term Jew hater all the time? It's almost like all the Zionists think in the exact same way as these people.
Because they're a fucking Hive Life collective. They are like Legion, bro. They need to be casted into pigs and tossed up a
Jeffrey responded, no, Goyim in abundance. JP Morgan execs, brilliant wasps. Because the dirty Goyim will be at the party. Because you got to extort the dirty Goyim.
They call black people Schwarza. They call us fucking Gentile and Goys. Even if we get paid to do what we want. No matter what, they don't do anything. They're lazy people and they steal shit. They eat our kids.
Anyways, back in the day, Peggy's assistants told The Hollywood Reporter that, quote, he was always calling her and trying to hang out with her, another former staffer explained. He wanted to go to every party. When he was in town, she made a point of inviting him to things, noting that when he wasn't, including during his house arrest in Palm Beach, Peggy would send him screeners and keep him in the loop. Peggy was his connection to the entertainment world.
She was a handler.
Consider that a massive understatement. The staffer overheard Seagal talking on the phone with Epstein. Peggy is like, you're not.
The name is Peggy. I just thinking about this. Peggy. Get it? Getting pegged.
Dating anyone, right? And he's like, well, I am, but you know, she's very young. And Peggy's like, stop it. Stop. Because if she's a Goyim, who cares if she's young?
The Talmud says it's like it's like 3 years or younger, it's permitted. It's like what? What?
Right, Peggy? Peggy got very famous because she threw the 2011 get out of
that's of their own kin. For Gentiles, it don't matter. Any age is fine.
Jail party for Epstein, where Prince Andrew attended, along with Katie Couric, George Stephanopoulos, Chelsea Handler. I'm pretty sure that Woody Allen was there.
Those are all the worst people. Like they were funny at one point before everybody started waking up, and then like Chelsea Handler is a great person to point out right there. That is a mess of a woman. That is hilarious, crashing and burning watching that happen. Like nosedive into alcoholism. Like already was an alcoholic, but just like when you see someone that old just trying to be young and they're just a wino.
That was the party that fucked Andrew's career up, and then he did that really horrible interview that he just totally shit the bed on.
Fucked over. He didn't get anything. He didn't even get in trouble. He never once got in trouble. He's still out and about. He'll never go to jail too.
That was before this one, where we have emails about him torturing people, maybe to death, allegedly. Yes, these people are all monsters. Yeah. But Peggy thought, quote, he said he'd served his time and assured me that he'd changed his ways. Because
that's like trusting like the wolf with your kid, like a wolf with your kids. Like, oh, they already ate one. Like, he won't do it again. He told me he wouldn't.
Because you know it's not a crime to.
What's that story? It's the frog and the scorpion. Yeah, it's the frog and the scorpion. The frog gives he says he won't give you a ride, but then he gets convinced. He said he won't sting him, and then eventually stings him, and they both die. It's the same situation.
Lie to Goyim, so who fucking cares, right, Peggy? So, Peggy gets blacklisted from the whole world in 2019 when the Epstein story really kind of comes out. No one's working with her, and she's whining about it and trying to do PR pieces, but eventually she slinks off into the shadows for a long time. But she claimed that she ended her financial relationship in 2010, and she didn't really know, and she thought he was all on the up and up.
Like everybody else said they did? Like Trump and everybody?
And we were just friends. It was no big deal. Yeah, these emails beg to fucking differ. So, aside from lots of correspondences like this one about the Goyim, at a certain point, it looks like Peggy wanted Jeffrey's help auditing her company to make sure that all the money was straight. Because there's a bunch of emails where Peggy Seagal's team are sending all of her tax records and financial stuff to Jeffrey, and he's reviewing them all. And we get all this information from Brian Bantry, who runs like the shell company that runs Peggy. I think it's a tax sheltering concept.
I hope you see where I'm going with this, because the clothing and the whole super ethno state fucking racist Zionist shit, like that ties into the whole next thing I'm going into.
Where he runs a parent company that owns Peggy's company, and they pay her out, and he's domiciled in the UK, not in the US. And it's weird, but it says this: all invoices for the Peggy Segal company are issued by and paid to Wagging Tail, which is this Brian Bantry company, this shell company in England. All expenses for the Peggy Segal company are paid for by Wagging Tail. So everything that's going to get paid to Peggy goes to Wagging Tail, and everything that Peggy's going to pay comes from Wagging Tail.
So they're hiding money. It's shell company shit. I don't know enough to know exactly, but the way they're paying each other is through like not real things, but dirty money probably being laundered through it.
Wagging Tail Entertainment pays a commission fee to Peggy. The commission fee is equal to 60% of revenue less expenses. So she gets a 60% cut, and then the manager of her shell company gets 40. Sorry, it's like really bright out there.
Oh, I was right.
The only exception to this is for invoices issued to HBRK Associates, in which case 100% of revenue is paid to Peggy Segal, Inc. That is a Jeffrey Epstein company that was used to pay out victims. That's one of his money laundering assets.
I just said there's the dirty part.
Jeffrey emailed one of his lawyers and accountants. I think Bantry is stealing, the guy that manages Wagging Tail. Do not mention this to Peggy's people. This explanation seems goofy. He takes the revenue, does not tell Peggy what it is, somehow calculates a 60-40 split. How often? What is he talking about? Not a very good friend to your friend Peggy, are you, Jeffrey? Here's one of Peggy Segal's accountants sending Jeffrey, please find attached a list of payments for each quarter made to Peggy Segal, Inc. from Wagging Tail in 2011. Wait, 2011? Yes, that's right.
I stopped talking to him.
She asked for this fucking audit in 2011.
Like a lot of these celebrities and famous people turned around and said they're in the same time period. Like not even a little bit before when he got in trouble.
After all financial connections were cut off. Then what follows is a shitload of profit and losses and tax documents. There's a bunch of emails of him paying for her travel expenses, a bunch of wire transfer documents directly from Jeffrey Epstein to Peggy Segal, as well as from Jeffrey Epstein to Wagging Tail, things like $25,000. There's invoices.
Hey, how much is a hot dog party? $25,000, right? Like, these people, I think this is all trafficking payments.
From Peggy's people to Jeffrey Epstein's people, as well as other invoices for their trip to St. Bart's. What were you doing in St. Bart's together? There's HBRK Associates documentation of payments made to Wagging Tail. It goes on and on and on. That Brian Bantry guy that runs Wagging Tail, I'm pretty sure I have a picture of him here somewhere. This guy, that guy, that guy. Well, his company has a dual registration as like PR and also as model and talent management. His father was big in the modeling industry. And as far as I'm aware, the FBI, none of the law enforcement ever went to Peggy and said, what the fuck is up with this? Despite having clear evidence that she's lying about the relationship was very significant and she was a connector to a lot of these fucking elites. So journalists, internet,
I know this clip is long.
Look into Peggy Segal, because there is so much smoke there. There is a reason why they blacklisted one of the most prominent and powerful Jewesses out of Hollywood.
Hold up, I'm gonna find something. So there's 1,500 messages involving just mentions of her or her messaging correspondence on that cool front loader site. That's a fucking lot to go through. And they go, how far back do they go? They go all the way back. Can I organize it by date? Because they're a little out. But it's like 2013, 2011. That's probably the one he was just having up and shit. Yeah, I'm going to comb through that at one point, but a little off topic from what we're doing right now. Okay, now this will add into what I'm talking about too.
Boy True Earther, if you guys don't follow him, he's an old friend from the Tickety Talks. But I saw a video of his today, and I have to share it. I don't know where he found this original footage, but this is from the massive drone attack on Ukraine today. Russia committed, allegedly. Look at this. Look. The body bag, one of the people in the body bags, I guess he woke up.
woke up, they're probably not dead.
I guess he was like, shit.
Like I said, everything's crisis actors. They're trying to sell you an idea. As they're cloning, clearly all the elites are all cloning their kids. Or if you go to like a Jewish community, they're all having like roughly at least like 4 to 15 kids. Example for a rich person, Bill Gates has like 12 kids. I don't show me a pregnant photo of his wife, but that's another story. But we're going into the main thing what I'm getting into. Oh, I kind of want to add this in here. Florida made it so they can prosecute and execute rapists now. Well, child molesters and rapists. And you got Ted Cruz over here fucking doing his normal fucking Ted Cruz shit.
And tragically, this pattern keeps on happening. Now, Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
That's not what everybody's saying lately, buddy. So let's move on, though. That was a little off topic. Okay, so this is what everything was leading up to. The last 2 clips that I wanted to connect all the dots to.
The oligarchy is not convinced by findings or statistics or a survey of the world that the world is overpopulated. The oligarchy has to believe
kids went missing from that camp. I mentioned that
the world is overpopulated simply because they are oligarchs. In other words, it's a structural feature of being an oligarch. In the case of Greek antiquity, we have a very clear example of the connection between oligarchy and genocide based on the notion of overpopulation. We find that the Greek oligarchy, which speaks to some degree to us through Hesiod, was of the opinion that the Greek world and the Mediterranean world was overpopulated in 1000 BC.
They did the same thing to the serfs on friggin' in Britain. They did it to everybody. Everywhere they go, they tell you there's no more land. So it's like they make the world round. They take away all the extra land to go look for. And they tell you that this is all you got. There's nothing left other than us.
This is an astounding finding. 3,000 years ago, the oligarchy thought that there were too many people in Greece, too many people in Asia Minor, Anatolia, too many people in the Greek islands, too many people in the Eastern Mediterranean, Egypt, and so forth. The oldest oligarchical trick in the book is to try to blur the line between humans and beasts, humans and animals. And one of the...
They make a second class out of you. Like, they're trying to do it now by saying they're changing their DNA. Like,
favorite themes of oligarchical sculptures and things like this is to have creatures that are part human, part animal. The overpopulation seems to grow out of the quest of the oligarch to find a way to define other people as subhuman or non-human. The oligarch attempts to say that the common run of mankind, the average person, Joe Sixpack, is really an animal. But the oligarch, the people of wealth and family and whatever other criteria that they may want to drag out, these are inherently superior.
At the basis of it all. And how do you hear in the Epstein files so far, if you guys go through them, how does he talk? And if you get into the cloning things and stuff like that, what he talks about, he starts talking about being the superior race because it's a Zionist view.
Is this colossal increase in the human population? It's one of the living species of the planet, but it's reaching plague proportions.
So that the answer to the problem that this creates tends to be the extermination of the poor, the useless eaters, the lower classes, the inferior racial minorities, of course, always a favorite target, an obvious target.
So that, before that plays anything crazy, that's the end of that clip. Okay, so crux to all this. Now that you know the last part, this one's going to make more sense, and all of it ties in together what we're living with right now, and everything's kind of bullshitty.
The official numbers for world population released by the United Nations, as of now, have just surpassed 8 billion people living on Earth. In 1800, there were only 900 million members of the human family spread across the world, raising to 1.65 billion in 1900 and skyrocketing to nearly 7 billion in the year 2000. Now, in 2023, we have allegedly just passed the 8 billion mark. Given past failures and the many lies spewed by the UN during recent world events, however, it is fair and justified to remain skeptical of such statistics and to do some independent investigation before blindly believing. By collecting official statistics and doing your own math, it is difficult to find a way for these numbers to add up. For example, India supposedly has a countrywide population of well over 1.4 billion citizens. But when practical calculations are made using the UN's own numbers, how they could possibly conclude such a high figure is clear as mud. Taking their official figures of populations from the largest 300 cities in India, from 12.4 million in the biggest city Mumbai, to just over 100,000 in the 300th placed city of Aurangabad, and adding them all together, that barely accounts for 200 million of this supposed 1.4 billion. If all the 300 places with the largest populations in India taken together only account for 200 million people, it is statistically and geographically impossible for there to be another 7 times this number mysteriously hiding out in the remaining small towns and villages with populations all lower than 100,000. A similar situation occurs when adding up the official figures for the entire world's 300 most populated cities. Taking the UN's own official statistics.
They always telling us, though, Africa's got all these people, India's got all these people, China's got 6 billion. It's complete bullshit.
From 24.1 million in the world's largest city of Shanghai, China, to only 361,000 people in the 300th largest city of Beirut, Lebanon. The combined figures only come out to approximately 1 billion people. Even after adding all the statistics calculated for surrounding metropolitan and suburban housing areas around each city, the total only amounts to around 1.5 billion.
Like, if you go look at a chart of this, the U.S., like a map of, like, population densities and stuff, you'll start really noticing it, too. And you'll be like, and they're going to be like, that city's going to say it has that many people, and then you go, like, wild thing to go to is, like, Connecticut pops up in my head. They say there's, like, as many people as there are, but then you go to, like, their city, everything's, like, feels like it's empty.
Where are these other alleged 6.5 billion people hiding?
Like that, too.
Being generous, independent analysts have estimated at most another billion people could possibly be spread out across the world's rural countries.
And when you get into, like, you get into the middle of the country, there's, like, no action. There's no one there. And you find out the government owns, like, all the land out there.
Sides, still putting the actual number well below 3 billion. The likely reason for these exaggerated statistics is that governments are incentivized to lie about population figures in order to collect more money for social programs. Then, by raising population figures to shocking levels, fear is created in the minds of the masses, and they are even more easily able to control.
Or you get you get a whole bunch of nihilist doomers that fucking want to just, like, go in the suicide pods
and sell us on expensive, enslaving solutions. This hoax has resulted in billions of dollars spent fighting the phantom of so-called overpopulation.
The things you can't fight. If you can't physically, tangibly fight it, don't fight it. You can't fight the weather. You can't fight population. You're not gonna go out and fight gravity. Like, whatever the fuck they want to call it, buoyancy. Like, you can't stop doing things that you can't win. Like, the weather is the funniest one, honestly. They keep selling you on it. They went from cold to hot. Now it's population. Does it feel like you're overcrowded? If it feels like you're overcrowded, you're probably in a city. Go anywhere else. Or you're in a very dense state. Like, I live in Mass, so it's like, it's a very dense state. It feels like there's as many people. They tell us, oh yeah, there's a bunch of people out there. But when you leave the state, you realize there's no one here. There's no one around.
And led to many inhumane population control.
And China came out already and said they only have 500 million. They wouldn't be able to monitor their citizens if they had those 6 billion that they had. You need at least half the population size to be able to, for one person to watch them. And who's going to watch those people?
Programs. In reality, however, if everyone were all squeezed into a population density of 27,000.
They're going to say, watch, they're going to show it, I hope, the Texas and stuff. You can fit everybody in Texas. Texas is so big, but you can fit the whole world population.
Per square mile, which is comparable to New York City. 8 billion people would only fill up the state of Texas, leaving the entire rest of the world uninhabited.
And it's a front yard and a backyard. That's actually like a yard and a house and everything on it, too. Like, okay.
The idea that Earth is dangerously overpopulated and governments need to take drastic measures to combat the issue.
There's a way better video out there. It's like 45 minutes long, and I cannot find it. It's impossible to find. It is completely off the internet. It's some like southern dude doing it.
Is another paper tiger attempting to scare us into submission.
Paper tiger. I haven't heard that in a while.
Overpopulation concerns led China to enact a brutal one-child policy. Forced sterilization is a method of population control in some countries. Nearly 250,000 Peruvian women were sterilized. Our government, through the UN Population Fund, is involved in population moderation programs around the world, including in India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Mongolia, Mexico, Indonesia, Brazil, the Philippines, Thailand, Egypt.
We come in, we convince them the natives not to have kids anymore.
Turkey, Ethiopia, and Colombia.
So that's that. I'll be back with another clip. I know that I said that was the last one, but it's really not. There's one more left. Final one. I'm going to end it with this one. So
the Israeli government was forcibly administering birth control to a segment of its minority population, with doctors injecting Ethiopian Jewish women against their will with a contraceptive, Depo-Provera. But it wasn't until this January that a government official finally acknowledged it. One investigative journalist who interviewed 35 Ethiopian immigrants found that they were being intimidated and threatened into taking the shots, while being told that they were merely inoculations. But many speculate it was all part of a deliberate attempt to restrict an expanding minority in the country. You see, over the last 2 decades, Israel has experienced a significant influx of Ethiopian immigrants.
Let's just pause right there before we keep going with that. If you look at 1938, and what really pissed off Hitler the most was when he found out through the Jewish Chronicle that was going through Quebec and Canada. You can find PDFs of it online. It's in like Google Archives. I have them myself. I actually have them posted on this account. If you go look at it, they're free to look. Public. It talks about the sterilization of the German women, and they're doing it the exact same program with the OBGs, basically fucking, I don't know what they call them, but the doctors that were doing the women's freaking gynecological shit. So it's like they're sterilizing them then, and that's what pissed them off the most when he found out they were just like taking women and just telling them, no, you can't have kids.
They're now being close to 130,000 living in the country.
And
while the government has finally put an end to this inhumane, insane population control tactic, the story has shed a light on a dangerous contraceptive that's now being pushed and administered on women of color all over the world, including right here in the U.S.
The drug was first patented in 1959. By the middle 60s, there were a lot of unethical...
Patented by then. They were probably working on it during the free war, like I was just saying.
Experimentations done, in particular the Grady Clinic study in Georgia on poor black and poor white women. God knows how many people died. This drug did not get approved until 1993-94, but during that time that was used on women all over. The effects of it are serious. Excessive bleeding, osteoporosis, breast cancer, cervical cancer, heart attack, stroke, ectopic pregnancies, excessive weight gain, which can lead to type 1 or 2 diabetes, short or long-term infertility, maternal death. It strips the epithelium, the inner part of the woman's womb, making her more susceptible to all STIs and STDs. Therefore, doubling the chances of getting HIV, AIDS, chlamydia, HPV, gonorrhea, or syphilis. And there are other things that bother.
Whoa, I didn't know they're still giving this out. Is this the, because I looked at that name, I'm like, I've heard that name, progesterone. Yeah, this is what the girls be taking nowadays. No wonder they're all fucked in the head and they all have problems. Or like they have weight gain with it. Dude, there's like so many issues and they're still giving this out. It doesn't, say any of the bad sides unless it says it's used for just menstruation, amenorrhea. I don't know, like I'm not going to pronounce some of these words, but it's like it's all lady part stuff, and they're trying to sell it as a good thing still, and that's not good.
Mental health. One of the things that's come to us that the group that I work with, the Rebecca Project, is that many women are telling us that they've had mental problems. The FDA in 2004 was so concerned about the dangerous nature of Depo-Provera that they issued a black box warning, which is the most serious warning that can be issued by the FDA about how dangerous this drug is.
And despite this warning, this black box warning, it's still being administered under multiple agencies to multiple countries around the world.
Yes.
Who is administering it? Why? And where?
Well, it's being used primarily in non-white countries. So Muslim countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Burma, possibly on the Myanmar minority, all over Africa, Central America and Latin America, and of course the United States, depending on whose information you look at, it's disproportionately used.
So that's something weird. All those dots, just to connect them. I hope you guys can see the madness that the people above us are doing to us again. Nothing new under the sun. Ouroboros. Keep repeating the doom cycle if we don't learn.